Peace, family, peace, peace, peace. All right, I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. If not, do understand and it's going to get better once your perception gets better. And I wanted to do this video real quick. So right now I'm here. This gorgeous view. Okay. So I remember when I first got into or became aware, right, of spirituality, and I was listening to like a bunch of motivation and stuff like that. And recently, okay, instead of me listening to motivation, right, I don't know if it's only me, but listening to motivation is really good. Okay, inspiration is good, especially if you take in action and you following up with whatever it is that you're listening to, right? But I remember I had went to go see this guy named Astro, right? And Astro, he would do past life regressions, meaning that you go to him to see, what you was in your past life, what you're supposed to be doing in this here lifetime, and things of that nature. And it was $300 and something that I had spent to see him, and the experience, it was phenomenal. And one of the things that I had asked Astro, I said, Astro, I be like, at times I listen to, a lot of stuff that says, like you gotta hustle hard, pretty much like whatever it is that you love to do, you gotta, pretty much you gotta set these goals up, you gotta be on go mode all the time, right? And what I started seeing was recently, like a few days ago, well, getting back to Astro, one of the things Astro said was, he said, some things work for some people and some things don't work for others, right? And when he said that, I said, that's absolutely right. Sometimes we look at other people's journeys and we think that, just because somebody else is, if they was able to achieve their success that way, sometimes we get caught up and we think that there's one way towards success, right? And there's not, okay? And so recently, because the motivation that I listen to, is good, but I started feeling like, damn, why isn't it happening quick enough, right? I started feeling that way, like, my goals, the things that I desired, like, why isn't it happening quick enough? And so I started going back to the basics, right? I started going back to the chalkboard. I started going back to the paint, okay? And I remember when I first started my journey, and I told you guys, this book that I was reading, that I read, and I'm probably going to read it again. And it's called The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power, right? And it's by Vernon Howard. And in that book, right, I wrote down 3 things, okay? 3 things: happiness, peace of mind, okay, and money, okay? But happiness, it needs to come first. And oftentimes we think that anything that we desire, it is going to make us happy, it's going to, make us feel a certain type of way. And oftentimes what you will see is, what this boat doing? I need a boat turning. Oh, maybe it's backing up. Hey, Antonio, you're the only person I can see on here. I see the numbers, but you're the only one that I see on here. And so I started, focusing on that more so. So sometimes, right, first of all, let me say this, okay? Anything outside your existence, it's going to enhance your happiness. Okay, so if you're not happy, even money is currency, money is energy. Okay, if you could be of service and give and do things that you really, really enjoy to do, what you would see is you would start getting paid, and you can enhance your craft or whatever it is like that, by studying people, watching people, or whatever it is, right? But I had to go back to the basic, and the basics was, when I first started this journey, one of the people that I used to watch heavily was Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart, right? And I remember I used to watch him so much, whereas though my youngest son at the time, he probably was about like 4, was he 4? Yeah, probably about 4 years old. And we would be in a white car that I had, and he would keep on playing Infinite Waters. Or sometimes when we would be home, he would play, because that's basically all what I would watch and listen to. And so I started going back to the basics instead of me focusing on, what's going on with that boat?
It's sinking?
I don't know.
It looked like it is. No, I don't think it is.
So I got my oldest daughter here. You want to say hello?
Hi.
So, I started going to the basics, and I started paying attention to, more so about my happiness. And I was watching a video from Ralph Smart, and one of the things that he said was, if you expect less, right, your life is going to feel fulfilled if you expect less, right? And that's so true, because oftentimes if you expecting all this stuff to occur, you give it a timeline, a date, or whatever it is, you don't know when your goals or whatever it is that you desire, when it's going to manifest, right? And you give it a date, and I think when you give it a date, that makes you even stressed out more, because then you're like, damn, why didn't it occur yet? So to me, it's like, really letting go. If it happens, I know it's going to happen, but when it happens, it just happens, right? And not putting yourself under all this scrutiny, under all this pressure, like, it got to happen today. And oftentimes the reason why we want the things that happen today, the desires, we want it to happen today, because somewhere along the journey, we feel like our lives are just going to be so much better, right? And oftentimes there's, listen, if you're not happy in the here and the now, right? Or if you don't know how to make yourself happy in the here and the now, there's no way, you could get this up. Because I know, so many times, honey, I got to cross my legs on this one, okay? So many times, I used to feel like, oh, when I get this thing, or on my way to somewhere to buy something, and you be so excited. Oh, when I get this, I'm gonna be so excited. And then when you get the thing, right, a few days you may be excited because you got this new item, this new toy, and then you go back to feeling the way that you felt before you brought the thing. It's almost as if you never even brought the thing, right? Because the feelings that you feel. And so what you have to understand is everything is just it's just an enhancement, right? It's just going to make you more happy. The money and everything is going to make you more happy. And I've been listening to some this billionaire, okay? He didn't care too much for you to keep saying he was a billionaire. It was an interview I was watching on YouTube, and it was so good, so good. So it was the guy, the founder of Kinko's, right? And he wound up selling Kinko's to FedEx. And I think, Kinko's to FedEx, I believe. And he was so simple. And one of the things he said was, happiness is more important than anything. And he just kept on going on. And another thing he said was, people who is so braggadocious about what they have, he said, those people you got to kind of watch or whatever, right? People, oh, well, I got this, I got that, and all this other stuff, right? Sort of, because, they want to, it's like the stuff that they have, they probably feel like they're not good enough, so they want to flex and always tell you, oh, well, I got this, I got that, or whatever it is. And the truth of the matter is, none of those things matter, okay? Because like I always say, if somebody was to come take it, then what? So my whole thing is, get back to the basics, okay? I mean, if you was doing something and it worked, you continuously do it. But for me, keep listening to the motivational stuff, and I don't need motivation to do these videos. I just do the videos. But sometimes what you have to realize is you have all the answers within, okay? Your higher self, your intuition, if you just listen to it, that gut feeling, it has all the answers. And I like telling you guys, I could never give you anything, because the truth of the matter is I can't, right? You have all the answers within you. It's almost like, you listen to some people when they speaking and stuff like that, and it's almost like they sparking your light bulb, right? The light bulb is going off in your mind, because now you are able to start saying, that makes sense, certain things make sense, and whatever it is like that. So one, do not put so much pressure on yourself, okay? Don't put so much pressure on yourself. I mean, if you're doing it, Isaac Newton had a law, right? And I believe it's the second law, and that law is, whatever you put out, you receive. Is the reaping, is the reaping law, right? You give and you'll receive, okay? My grandmother used to say that so many years ago. She used to say, those seeds you plant, you're gonna reap the harvest, okay? And so whatever you do know is not going unseen, okay? No matter how many people try to convince you, well, you gotta go a little harder, right? All this other stuff, and then you're like, damn, why is not working? Why this shit not working, right? Just focus more so on your happiness, and I guarantee you everything else is gonna align itself, and before you know it, the things that you truly desire is all going to come to fruition. And what you're going to start seeing is you didn't have to work so hard. Because if you're working so hard, you're putting up a lot of resistance. And when you put up a lot of resistance, it's almost like this river, okay? Now, if you putting up a lot of resistance, right, you're trying to hold back these, if you're trying to hold back the waves, right? You can't hold back the waves. The waves just gonna come, right? You can't hold back the waves. They just gonna come. And the more you try to hold back the waves, okay, the more you may go up under, okay? You may go up under because you're trying to hold back the current. Sometimes in life, you just have to let life do what life needs to do, okay? The more you keep on putting pressure on yourself and keep on giving yourself these timelines and all this other stuff, the more you are going to get frustrated and you're going to feel like it's not working. But the more you are, another big thing, gratitude. I can't tell you guys gratitude enough, okay? Look at the bird, okay? The bird don't have no worry. It's just flying. Okay, you think this bird worrying about when it's gonna eat or whatever it is like that? No, he's living in abundance, okay? And the same thing with the river, with all the water is abundance, okay? And so with that being said, I hope you guys got something from this video. If not, do understand, I guess you could make your own video. Honey, I'm going back to the beginning, okay? I hope you guys having a phenomenal day. If not, do understand your life is going to get better once your perception gets better. But anywho, understand life is meant for you to learn, okay, for you to enjoy it. Stop feeling like everything, all your desires, it has to happen right now. Sometimes you just got to be like the bird, okay, and just, just go with it. Just go with it, okay? Stop putting up so much resistance and have some doggone gratitude. Okay, be grateful. This morning when I got up, well, actually when I was on my way to walk down here, one of the things that I was thinking about was I'm so grateful. Okay, I'm grateful to be able to come down here and spend time, and I ain't gotta punch in nowhere. Okay, those things like that is simple. It's simple. And a lot of times we tend to take the things that are simple, we tend to take those things for granted because someone may have convinced you that you're supposed to be further along than where you are. And you always got to do what works for you. Always, it's funny because my sister, sometimes, when I'm talking to her, she'll say, what do you always say? You always say, always do what works for you. And it's so true because this is your life. This is your life. You got to do what makes you happy, not worrying about what makes somebody else is happy. Worry about, not even worry, but do what makes you happy. Okay. And with that being said, I love you guys. Make sure you're rocking out. Make sure you're believing in yourself. Make sure you have that you have the ability to make yourself happy. And it's, we overcomplicate life. Okay. We complicate life because, oftentimes we want all this stuff. And then when you get all this stuff, then what? Then what? It was so many times where it's though I had stuff and then, you still feel empty. You still feel incomplete. You still feel like something is missing. And you know why? Because it's like you done traded your happiness for these things, or you put these things on a pedestal and start feeling like, well, this thing is gonna just give me the ultimate happiness. And you put so much pressure on things outside of your existence, you put so much pressure on people is the biggest one. You expect so much. Oh, well, they said they was gonna do this, they said they was gonna do that, and then you get let down. And the reason being is because your expectations are so high, and people are people. They can't do what you want them to do or what you feel as though that they ought to do. And sometimes you get let down because you're like, well, they should have done this, or they should have did that, or only if they would have did that, my life would have turned out better. You are where you are because that's where you need to be. Okay. And so with that being said, I love you guys. Something so simple like this, something so simple, is like it can enhance your happiness. Okay. Something so simple, something, that we tend to take for granted. And it's like the things that are free, we take for granted. But the things that you have to pay for, you put oftentimes on a big pedestal. I guess the programming. All right. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.